We live so much of our lives online, right? We text, we email, we have meetings over video. But what if I told you that for over 150 years, India's legal system was basically running on a rulebook built for a paper and ink world? Well, that has all just changed in a really big way.
So let's just jump right in with a question that gets to the heart of it. Can a simple WhatsApp message you sent actually be used as legal evidence in a courtroom? For the longest time, the answer was, well, it was complicated. But now, thanks to a huge legal update, the answer is a clear, definite yes. So let's unpack how we got here.
First, we got to take a look back at the old rulebook. The law that governed all evidence in India was the Indian Evidence Act, and it was passed way back in 1872. I mean, think about that for a second. That's a law from the colonial era, long before anyone had even dreamed of computers or the internet.
So under this old act, the whole idea of evidence was super physical. It was really broken down into just two buckets. First, you had oral evidence. That's what a witness says in person, inside the courtroom. And second, you had documentary evidence, things like physical papers, contracts, letters, stuff you could literally hold in your hand and show the court. You can already see the problem, right? Where does our entire digital life fit into that?
And that was the fundamental issue. You had this law from the 19th century trying to function in our 21st century world, and it created this absolutely massive legal gap. For years, courts and lawyers had to find these creative workarounds, but the law itself was just hopelessly behind the times.
But now we've got a brand new rulebook. It's called the Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam, or BSA, of 2023. This law was specifically designed to be the modern fix for this digital problem, and it completely redefines what evidence even means in India today.
Okay, now check this out, because the change is so simple but so powerful. Here you can see the old definition from 1872, and right next to it, the new one. Look closely at the new wording. For oral evidence, it now says including those made electronically. And for documentary evidence, it adds including electronic or digital records. Just a few words, but believe me, those few words change absolutely everything.
So, what does this actually mean in the real world, beyond the legal jargon? How does this impact actual court cases and, well, regular people? Let's break down the practical side of it. Essentially, the new law gives us two huge upgrades. First, it officially recognizes what's called electronic oral evidence. That means testifying over a video call now has the same legal weight as being physically in the courtroom. And second, it blows the definition of documentary evidence wide open, making all sorts of digital files totally admissible as proof.
And this is where it really hits home. Things we use every single day. Emails, those WhatsApp chats we talked about, CCTV footage, even documents you have saved on the cloud. They're not in some legal gray area anymore. They are now officially and very clearly on the table as solid evidence.
And this isn't just some technicality. It has massive real-world benefits. It's going to make virtual court hearings way more efficient. It seriously improves access to justice for witnesses who might live too far away or too sick or vulnerable to show up in person. And at the end of the day, it's all about pushing towards faster justice in a courtroom that finally gets our digital world.
But what's really cool about this reform is that it isn't just about catching up to the tech we have today. It's also about getting ready for the technology of tomorrow. The goal here was to create a law that wouldn't be outdated again in just a few years. This slide really just sums up the whole story. We've moved from a colonial-era, paper-based system that was completely out of sync with real life to a digital-era, tech-friendly law that's actually synchronized with how we live now. It's a total paradigm shift. And this is the future-proofing part I was talking about. The new definition is written to be intentionally broad and flexible. It's designed to be able to include evidence from technologies that are just starting to emerge, like records generated by AI, data from all those smart Internet of Things devices, and even information that's stored on a blockchain.
If you want to boil this entire massive reform down to one core idea, this quote says it all. The goal is to ensure that no truth is excluded merely because it exists in electronic form. It's really about making sure the justice system can see all the facts, no matter what format they're in.
So this update to India's evidence law is a huge step forward, for sure. But it also makes you think, doesn't it? As technology keeps evolving faster and faster, what other parts of our legal systems everywhere will need to be totally reimagined and rewritten for our digital age? That's a question we're all going to be grappling with for a long time.